Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie and my channel is My Scattered Brain. This is a channel that I have that is dedicated to daily activities, weekly art challenges, and just creativity in general. And so today is flip through day, which means that I completed a project. The project was Junk Journal Madness. It's a monthly journal making collaboration hosted by Susan at I Totally Love It, where a theme is selected, and then a number of materials and a number of items is chosen. And you have a list to help you with your creativity, to try and jog your creativity so that you are not always doing the same old thing. So I highly encourage you, if you're stuck in your creativity or if you just want to try something new, to check out I Totally Love It and hashtag JJ Madness. And you can start big, you could start small, you could just do a little bit, you can do all of it. It's entirely up to you, and really there's no rules. It's just kind of a little jump to inspire you. Okay, so you will see my JJ Madness. I have a playlist, and I've been working on a woodland forest journal, which was the theme that we were all doing for February. So this journal, I'm going to give him a name. I'm going to name him Bullwinkle. And what I did was I used an old clipboard that I had. Poor old Bullwinkle, he didn't have any antlers, so I made him some antlers. And I spruced up this clipboard a little bit. Now what this clipboard is actually a journal docking station. All right. So this is meant to be a two-part journal. So I'll show you how this works. So a lot of these papers here are coffee dyed or tea dyed. And there's decoupage features. There's real lichen, grapevine, pine cone, and I'm just going to start with the flip through. Oh, I'm already... And this is my first flip through of this journal. So this is the closure. It's just a piece of paper bag handle attached to a key with some copper wire. And it's meant to go through this copper loop. And it just removes and it stays. It's attached to the clipboard. Open it up. The inside of the actual case, if you want to call it that, is fairly generic. It's just scrapbook papers, a little bit of fabric, and the journal is meant to be lifted out. This can remain hanging on the wall. Oops, sorry. Hold on. This can remain hanging on the wall or sitting on your desk. And you can take your journal off to wherever, or take that to wherever you want to sit. And this is, like I say, I'm going to call it a docking station or a journal case. And by the way, this was my inspiration for his antlers, because he had only 2 holes in his head. All right, the journal has coffee dyed paper throughout. Some of it is smooth and some of it is crumpled. And it's bound with bias tape. And it's held closed by this ribbon. Not that ribbon, this ribbon. And what I did was I attached it to the binding bias tape so that it doesn't get lost. As I was making this journal, I was a couple of poems were brought to mind, and both of them happened to be by Robert Frost. So this first one is called The Road Less Traveled. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I learned that poem in elementary school, maybe in junior high. I love the sentiment. It's about choices in life, and you are where you are because of the choices you made. And although there's a difference in the result, that's not really for you to know. So that's kind of my take on it. Made a little map, put a little map, a little sticker, dragonfly, and this made me think of the two roads, even though that's a river. And that's really kind of like the pseudo cover. This is the beginning of the journey, where the statue points you into the tunnel for you to lead your way into the woodland forest. And you may not notice it, but there's an owl looking over you. This next page is a multi-pocket. It's 3 pockets on one page made out of the same paper. And I took previously made artwork and mounted it on scrap paper so it can be written on. There's a little cat under the mushrooms. This one here is a tree with some zigzag. One thing I realized is I really have to do a little more use of my sewing machine. I actually enjoy that a lot. This is an interesting piece of paper. It has a letter written on it, and it has the impression of the glue from an envelope. And I'm not really sure what happened to this, but to me it looks like it was in an envelope and it got water damage and everything bled out. And I have that in there for somebody to use as a writing spot. This is all writing spot. It's got a little bit of stencils from being dyed with the stencil laying on top of it. Here's a corner pocket with a journal spot. Again, this was a previous index card that I had made with watercolors and cardboard and spiral paper and music paper. But I thought it fit the theme pretty nice. Here's a little writing spot there. And throughout, I used this deposit slip. You know, because this book hasn't been worked that much, there are some snags in the sliding and whatnot. But that comes with junk journaling. This is an envelope that flips open. Or flips up, I should say. You can write behind here. And then in here, again, another playing card, previous art that I attached. Blank. This is a cluster that I made. Now when I make these, I don't know how I'm going to use them. I just make them in advance. And they can be used as a page edge, as a belly band, however you see fit to use it. It can be modified, but I just left this just the way I made it way back when. Tucked in this belly band is a piece of Happy Mail that somebody sent me. It's a little bit of steampunk and Victorian, but I felt like there was enough wildlife and butterflies to fit the journal. There's a little tag, pull out tag. It could use a little bit of a workover with glues, just to fasten everything down a little better. But I liked it, so why not? And I don't mind if things hang out, up, down. I actually like that look. This is just a little fabric butterfly. Just clean them up a little bit here. So always going to be some glue strings and stuff. And here's that bug that I had playing the, I don't know, the mandolin maybe. And this is a lunch bag. So I didn't decorate this. I was kind of a little stumped on it. I had a writing board in there, but then it stuck out too much. So in here I have a little see-through tag, which I put a feather from out in my yard, and a seed packet. And I didn't modify that either. I thought that would be just something that somebody could collect some feathers in or decorate on their own. And I'm going to tuck these in here because they got all jumbled up with the closure. This was a little story that I told myself, that as the person was, as me or whoever, journal holder, was exploring the woodland forest, they came upon a group of people having a picnic. And you could see all the little critters creeping and peeking out. And this is a flip up where you can journal. And it's also a card. And that picture is from 1900. Blank page. And this asks, how far down the path can you see? And there's a duck, and he's kind of like peeking around the mushroom. I have a compass here because you're going on a trek through the woodland forest. And then this is a page edge. It's another one of those clusters. And I just used it to embellish the edge and frame out this little pocket. Mr. Woodpecker. Knock, knock, who's there? He's knocking on the tree. Here's a tag. And just a piece of paper, a piece of map. This is just the back of the next page. I didn't do anything to it. And originally I was not going to make this the middle page, but I really thought that this page lent itself to being opened all the way up. So I'll do that in a minute. Here was a little journal I made, and this was an angel, and I changed her wings. So let's open this up and take a look. Little dragonfly again. And now this is a postcard. And what I've done is I've clipped it with a little clothespin. Oh, let's say here, the New River Gorge National River in West Virginia. And so what I did was I made this go around the page, because sometimes when you have pockets like this, things want to fall out. So it's a little bit of a safety band, if you will. And I was going to just have glue a piece of paper here and have this be slided. But I did this instead. and I left that alone. Next page is a sun print that I made a fabric tab and went around with the sewing machine, and a bookmark. This is a pocket. Again, this was those clusters, so they come in really handy. And this is just a flower arrangement picture from my husband's mom had a florist. My husband's family had a florist, and there was a fire in one of the rooms, and some things survived the fire. And so I thought, oh, well, let's put some flowers there. Blank page. Blank page. This is the other side of that paper bag, and these are 2 more creations from a previous time. And what I did was I glued here, and that's just made 2 pockets. Here's a side pocket, or I guess that's a tuck, right? A side tuck. And it's just a collage. And this is the cover of a soft cover book. A Girl with a Butterfly. And I didn't do anything to the back. This is pretty brittle, so I didn't get too crazy with it. I just figured leave it the way it is. There's a belly band for whatever. Couple blank pages. It's a little collage I made along the edge of the page. It's got creatures, flowers, fabric, and somebody who's gathering sticks, resting. So here's the other poem. It's also Robert Frost. It's called Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Finally, this very last page is the binding of a Lassie Come Home book. It's not the binding, it's literally the fabric from the spine. And I have this back cover of a book, which I made into a writing board. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed my whole series. I didn't film the last little bits of getting this together. And actually, for me, that was the most fun part, was just going through the pages and adding little dragonflies and stamps and ribbons and, just kind of knowing that I was finishing it up, and adding adding antlers to Bullwinkle. Bullwinkle, the journal. Now, if you wanted to, you could open this up to the last page and clip it on there, but it does stay in all by itself. Let me get this out of Bullwinkle's face. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that I've inspired you to join Susan and her next collaborator for Junk Journal Madness in March. Have a great day.